Hello everyone, welcome to Gelvin Valley, created by Wild Wild Wes. We are trying to start our harvest and having a dickens of a time at it, by the way. And part of it stems from having gotten our hands on a little bit larger kit than what we're used to and taking it out to the fields. And this combine is a little wider, a little bigger, and the grain table platform that was being used was just too large to haul down the road. So, last episode had to hire a trailer to haul the header on. And so I'm driving the combine up here now. These roads in here are so narrow, which is part of the reason for its charm, of course. But they're so narrow that I'm not able to carry the header down the road except for the one that was maybe 5.5 meters. Now, the one for this combine here is 10.5 meters, and it's just too wide. And so had to, a matter of fact, it's so wide you can't even get it into a number of the fields. Time will tell, if we're able to get it into the field we're going to up here, which incidentally is field 22. I'm unable to harvest 25 or 23. Well, maybe now I could if I hauled the trailer with the header in there. But I'm kind of thinking I'll just hire a smaller combine, maybe to handle those particular areas. Okay, here we are. We're at this bridge, and okay, just look at that. Just barely able to come through there, so that's kind of a good sign. So we'll get this up here. Gotta climb a little bit of a hill here to get up there, and we can at least take care of number 22. I think we should be able to take care of 21. Make sure I stay on the road. And number 18 should be no problem. 12, we should be able to get into any of those, where they have a larger gate. A couple of the fields, 25, 23, 43 down on the bottom, and maybe a couple of, maybe 49. Well, now that I think about it, I got several of them that aren't going to take, they have a smaller gate, kind of like this one here, but that is the sole access to the field. So I'm not going to be able to take the larger harvester in there. So, and Wes, if you listen to this, the area that you modeled it after, or if you will, I always forget the area. Well, we can see it here. Dungiven, Sperrin Mountain area, Northern Ireland, Donegal, Dalmellington. Sorry, I'm probably pronouncing it terribly. Are these, well, you say here the roads are mainly narrow, winding, steep. And although I don't know if you're talking about the real life area here, or if you're intending just to speak, to the map, certainly in here, they are narrow, winding, and steep. But is the real life area similar to what we see in the map here, to where, if you're going to do arable farming, it just has to be smaller machines? And what I'm trying to do here with having larger machinery just isn't going to work. Let me get connected here. Try to. Alright, now will this work? I have notorious It seems like so much of the time I've had difficulties, with the header trailers. Alright, now let me back up a little bit. I'll get out here and go over to my tractor. Move it out of the way. I don't know if I can just pull. No, maybe I can't. Why don't I don't know if there's a ditch over here, so maybe I'll just try to get off of the road good enough. Maybe I need to back up. Close enough, huh? Alright, set the brake. And I'm going to head out here and let's go do the opening cut. Assuming I can get through the gate. Oh, brother. Oh, room to spare. Room to spare. Alright, so it's going to be a little different cutting the field now, being quite a bit wider. But let's just get her rolling. Yeah, the good old chop straw mod coming into play. And, you know, I probably will be able to make it all the way around, maybe. Whoops. Yeah, I'm not used to having a machine this wide. And maybe after we get kind of around the outer edge, I'll turn it loose kind of with auto combine. I know I've done that on the other. And then I'm going to have to... I don't remember how many liters this thing holds. I think I'm going to have to get a larger setup to offload the canola. So far, so good. But you know, I'm starting to see, you know, when you got the smaller kit and you go over, and this is true in real life as well, you know, if you farm in a location that's hilly and you have smaller machines, you know, there's no problem with all the bits and rolls and everything in the field. But when you start getting larger machines, kind of like we're doing right now, and that big old header is spread across more surface area of the field, well, then you start rubbing and some of those other things, or it's close, you know, you just, it may not flex over every bump, you know, that's in the ground. So we're making the best of it here and just kind of feeling our way along here. Oh yeah, we'll be able to make a round. Should be no problem. I don't even remember anymore how much the other combine held. Probably would have been full by now. Yeah, this is... I just wish for Farming Sim 15 that we would have had a larger combine that had hillside capability. And, you know, I'm fresh off of a series in Farm Sim 11 where I took an existing hillside and kind of converted it a little bit so that it would work appropriately. At least, you know, in Farm Sim 15, the ones that we do have, they do work appropriately. They're just not large enough. And yeah, maybe I could figure out how to get it to work with a larger machine, but I don't know. Whew, lots of bumps in this field. I'm not even sure Auto Combine would take kindly to me trying to have it go in this field. Whoop. Raise that. I figure if we at least tackle the outside edge, then I'm assuming we can turn it loose on higher. And yeah, probably it will be over half full by the time we get to the end of the round here. So I imagine another loop through the field will get us all the way full. So what is it? Is that I don't remember which key it was. Oh, maybe F1 menu will tell me. Active side left. Maybe I'll just make it kind of a clean cutoff here. raise that up and kind of cut in. Now, whoop! Oh, gravity works. Kind of send it in here. Alright. Now, if I hit higher, auto combine, there we go. Alright. I'll maybe ride along here. Oh, I don't think it'll move while I'm in here. Okay, so to properly offload, I don't know that I have any. Oh, I got this old truck, but I don't remember how much it holds, but probably not enough for a combine this size. Oops, let me go back here. So I probably need to just use the Giants. Oh, there's gonna be spendy. Rent. Sure, why not a red truck? Oh man, that's $1,000 an hour. Well, let me hit it 2 hours. Same with this combine. Rent. And let's see, is it in here that I get the tipper? Yeah, this is the trailer. I don't remember, was this, oh, 59,000. Okay, this will hold a fair amount. Oops, 2 hours. Alrighty, let me head to my truck. We are farming big time now. And this is so different from how I've been farming it. Yeah, I'm just kind of experimenting here. And of course, running out of money. What I do know is this truck has some get up and go. So I am confident that I can at least move quickly. Versus the old tractor that I was using, of course, would just kind of put along, so I need to be careful I don't crack up with this thing. But what can I say? It's a hired vehicle, or rented rather, so if it gets a few dings, well, I'll just say that's part of the rental fee that I pay, and they'll figure that out at the dealership. See how this thing pulls the hill over there. Kind of zipping around a little too fast. I just want to get to the field. Ooh, scrape the car. Over the bridge. And up the hill. I guess I probably could go in the field. Wait a minute. Is a combine? Oh, it's already full. Oh, I'll be jiggered. Okay, so it holds 10,570. So I can put at least 4 loads in here before I have to haul it to storage. Alright, I think I can sneak in this spot. Oh, this is terrible steep. Get up to my combine and hopefully it's alright, good. Now, let me go over to the combine. How do I get the active side? Oh, 5, key 5. Is there an unload? On the go, distance, unload mode. Well, it says unload mode is driving, standing. Huh. Well, it should be moving, but for whatever reason it isn't, so there it goes. Okay, this this plainly isn't going to take nearly as long as it used to. And, oh, by the way, this maybe will be for a future episode, but I finally figured out a way to deal with it. See all these weeds here? I finally figured out a way to get them to go away. And I'll share about that in another episode. I'll try to remember when we ripped these fields out. There was just a little bit of lua coating I had to do in order to make it happen. So, alright, we'll set the brake on him. Let's go back to our combine. Yeah, this is probably taking double the width that we took previously on our other combine. So taking quite a bit larger bite. And I may be able to, I don't know that there's anything confining that I have to drive through, so I might be able to drive this. Matter of fact, why don't I just take care of that now? I'll move this. I want to see, let's just take it down to the other field. This will be field 21, kind of right next door. So there's no way, of course, to get over there here. We got to go down further. But I think I can make this turn and take it. I just want to minimize the number of times that I have to remove the header. Now, I do think that after this field, if I go over, well, maybe it'd be field number 12. So, I don't know if I need to, let me get this off the road up over here. See, there's 12 and then there's 18. Now 18, the double gate entry is right down here. Typically I've gone in kind of on the northern end, but the gate is really small, so I need to bring the combine down here in order to do it. And then over on 12, the double entry is here, and I can't remember, I don't remember if there's any obstacles. I don't think there is, but I don't rightly remember, so I'll maybe look off cam. So, but I'm pretty sure I can bring the combine over here and knock out that piece without having to put it back on the header trailer. Just wish it was a hillside. Anybody listening, you know how I go on and on about hillside combines. Does anybody know of one that is, say, as large as this particular combine? The Case IH 7130. And this isn't even the largest. There's another size larger yet, where actually the next size larger, it has its own trailer built in, right? So, you know what? That one may be actually easier to deal with than this one here. But yeah, it's just enough bigger that, yeah, maybe it would have more difficulty navigating some of these fields. But you at least wouldn't need the trailer. And I probably have nowhere near enough time to do them all. So I think here now, I know I can do 21, 12, 18. I think there's, and then down on the lower farms, I think there's double gates on 2, 1, 3. But not on 4, not on 49, not on the pasture, not on 43. I don't think we have it on 41 either. I think that's a single gate. Possibly we'll be able to do 42. 32 has a double gate. 38 has a double gate, so that should be feasible. I think the 37 does also, and 8. I think the double gate for 37 is up here, so you kind of got to start and end up here. Whereas before, the smaller combine, you could sneak in here and then zip over down here. So, in other words, I'll need to hire or rent a smaller combine for 25, 23 for field 4 and 49, and the pasture in 43 and 41. So, make a circuit with the larger machinery and have to clean it up, I think, with smaller. Sneak on down the hill. Pick up another load. And this may be, kind of following up with what I had talked about in the previous episode in terms of strategizing when and how to sell. I wonder if this is what I would need to do it, because it's large and I can put a significant quantity in there and just need to make sure. Hi, George is still finding it. Try to get the speed down so I can use speed control. There we go. Match the speed of the combine. All right. Yeah, after having harvested, a different way for so long, for so many harvests, it's amazing to see it go so much quicker, which stands to reason. Yeah, get in there, combine. Taking such a teeny little bite. It might be able to fit the rest of this, maybe even in a single tank. Lacking the good old hillside. But I am glad to see that I'm able, I have obviously last episode quite a bit of stumbling around trying to get ready for harvest, so I am pleased I'm able to use a larger machine to do this. But maybe Wes will tell me that seeing machines this large kind of in the areas he envisioned is just, unheard of. And Wes, if you comment on that, is it because it's set up that way, or it's been that way for a long time, and the infrastructure was just never conceived of something larger? Is that why it is, or is there a reason, that it's been kept small? I know in particular, a lot of times the UK maps, which I really, really enjoy. They're some of my favorite types of maps, to play farming sim on. They tend to have, they just tend to be very picturesque. They have windy roads that are narrow, tight farmyards. Hey, dude, get a full swath if you're gonna do it. There we go. But what I haven't known is, some of it is planning over a long period of time. And if your roads were built during an era when, things were much smaller, and you just never conceived that maybe someday there'd be much, much larger machines, and you didn't build your infrastructure for that, or when those did come around, you didn't tear it up and rebuild it, then maybe that's how or part of the reason why it is the way it is. But I honestly don't know. There may be a reason to have kept it small and whatever. And I know for me, I tend to like, especially in a farmyard, I like it a little more open for just one simple practical reason. When you're as bad a driver as I am, I could just imagine working for some British farmer and tearing every gate off or busting every fence, that he had, just because, yeah, it's tight. And I'm not a very good driver. But at least in the middle of the field out here, there isn't anything to run into, So we maybe haven't had it. We rented it for 2 hours. We're obviously going to need it for way more than that now that we kind of tabulated all the fields. But rented it for 2 hours and haven't had it in the field harvesting for 2 hours. Some of that time obviously is spent driving just to get it here, which I suppose it would be in real life too. Tilt! We need hillside. If only. Oh, once I get rich on this particular map, I may go back to the good old little hillside combine anyhow, just on general principles. But I don't know. I got a long ways to go to become wealthy in here. That's for sure. Speaking of, let me see here. 700 grand loan maxed out. Yeah, there's some screwball things going on in here. Loan value 420. I don't understand that. Edit loan. Yeah, whatever. Well, we're down to just a couple minutes for this particular episode. I don't know if you can hear that noise through the mic. I just heard my son come home who worked his bees this evening. It's summer, well, not really summer, it's spring kind of as I record this, and each, well, not each, but a lot of evenings when the sun goes down, he's out working his hives or moving them to a new location. I'm not sure how many hives he has now. I know it's well over 100, but it's always nighttime, typically, when he's working the bees, or moving them in particular. So they're just getting home from that. Alright, folks, I shut the sound off for a little bit there as my sons, who I mentioned came storming into the house. I guess when they were out moving bees, the tire of the forklift they were using popped, and so he was in looking for the specs. Ooh, hold on, car, and we'll go through it, I guess. Oh, I just hit strong signs here on Gelvin Valley. Alright. We'll get her up to the next field, and then we'll call it an episode. Thank you so much for coming along to watch as I mess about harvesting canola. You all take care and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.